And so as I was standing there, I looked through the window, and there was this woman who was roughly 23 to 25, who was on her knees with this other kid, and they were both walking, or I guess crawling, around in the mall, making dog sounds. But they were like Chihuahua, so they're like, I don't even know how to bark like a Chihuahua, but I don't think it was like that. But it was kind of weird. Then security came, and I don't know what else happened. But how are you doing today, fine sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing better than the dog people at the mall, I would think. As you can see, I've got my jacket on. This is the Walmart special, $11 off the clearance rack. But yeah, this whole past week, heat index has been in the triple digits. And today it got down, I think, to 99. So it's a little brisk out. I had to put on my jacket. But we're surviving. We're doing good. So
that's good. I would hate it if you froze to death out there.
Yeah. I was concerned for a little bit.
That makes sense.
But I'm all warmed up now. So
that makes sense. I was out there taking my mail out, and I had to throw on sweatpants because I was so cold. The hairs on my legs were sticking out.
Oh, goodness. Well, what have you been up to this past week?
I am getting ready and preparing for a pickleball tournament this upcoming weekend. So on Monday evening, I played a little pickleball, trying to get established and ready, a good strategy and game plan, but most importantly, to have fun, because that's the definition of a win, is if we're having fun out there. But what I've been thinking about is what I'm going to wear to this pickleball tournament.
Okay.
You know, Jeremy Large and I, who is my pickleball partner for this tournament, we're trying to do a little matchy-matchy item. And we want to be fun, don't get me wrong, but we want people to walk up there and know we mean business. So I'm thinking striped headbands and sweatbands, but I was curious if you had any thoughts as to what we could wear.
Oh, whenever I think matching pickleball outfits, that's the first place my head goes, is matching striped headbands, the long white socks, maybe some sweatbands on the wrists as well.
Yes.
Who knows? I mean, some tennis players like to curse. I don't know if you want to bring that into the pickleball realm, but I think that could be kind of a good compliment as well with your outfit.
Are they cursing the other people? Are they cursing the ball? Are they cursing their own bodies?
Yeah, I think their own bodies. I think a lot of them, they'll lose a point, smash the paddle on the ground, come on.
I curse you.
I curse you. Like if your name was Michael, you'd be like, come on, Michael, come on. But yeah, maybe that's, maybe throw in a few curse words, catch everybody off guard. You're representing your church. So
yeah. Nothing better than
people,
representing the church house, who is a sponsor for this event, and walking in there and cursing everybody. Well, cursing my own body.
You certainly catch them by surprise with it.
Boo. What else? We had our second Unity Party cabinet meeting this week. That's a monthly meeting, and I'm just so encouraged to walk out of that meeting knowing how many people are dedicated to moving forward with a spirit of unity. So
I think there was 9 people that attended, 9 cabinet members.
There were 10 cabinet members.
Oh, shortchanging you. That's impressive. I was there. I was impressed, and I'm pleased with the direction that it's heading.
Yes, it's exciting, man. Because I think it's a needed change, and that's why it exists. Right? The only constant is change, and that's a phrase that's been sticking with me for the past 3 weeks. As someone who likes the constants in life. Is there really ever a constant in life? I don't know. I've been on a journey trying to figure that out for 23 years now.
The journey will never end,
No,
unfortunately. Well, I mean, I guess at some point it will, but at that point, who knows if you'll really care about change and constants, you know?
I don't think I will. I'd argue that I shouldn't care right now about the changes and constants in life, you know? Because it's at the end of the day, those are tertiary issues, secondary issues. You know,
Okay.
we shouldn't be focused. I shouldn't be focused on the what's changing and what's constant in my life. I should be focused on moving forward the mission of the gospel. Now, once again, didn't mean to get preachy. This isn't a preaching podcast. And if it were, we'd raise up a lot of bad preachers because we are two of the most sinful men we know,
Yeah.
internally and externally.
I think that's actually in the description of the podcast is
Yeah.
we're two of the world's biggest sinners. So I think that draws a lot of people in.
That's right. Something that they can relate to, you know?
Right.
I think there's beauty in transparency. And quite frankly, we're terrible people. And the sooner y'all know that, the better. And the sooner we can accept that for ourselves, the stronger we become.
Yeah. I think when I think about myself, I think reprobate is the word that comes to mind most of the time. So, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
No, every morning I wake up, I look in the mirror, I say, "You're absolutely trash. You should be ashamed of yourself." And then I read my Bible. It really gets me in the mindset, you know.
It's a great posture for your heart to be in.
Oh, anyway, what have you been up to, good man?
Oh, man, this work week has been a long one, but it's the weekend. I love the weekend. Last night kicked off the weekend with a little Roadhouse, which is probably, as far as chains go, probably top 4 establishment.
The Florida Roadhouse?
The Florida Roadhouse, that's right. Incredible rolls, cinnamon butter. I mean, just clog you right up with the arteries, you know? But they got steaks, they got chickens, green beans, things like that, baked potatoes. So if you're listening to this podcast and you've never been to Texas Roadhouse, then shame on you, first and foremost. And second, you probably need to go tonight and get some of that food. Now, we just got takeaway. We didn't sit down because, you know, some of the waitresses, they'll come around and clap and just kind of yodel some stuff. And that's a fun time, but I don't know if I was really in the mood for it last night. So we got takeaway last night and kind of chilled on the couch with the baby and ate a bunch of rolls and dinner. So it was a great experience.
That sounds like a dream.
And I think it's also, you know, I'm at a point in my life where maybe this is sad, but I'm on a podcast and the highlight of my week is eating Texas Roadhouse rolls. And I'm doing a little reflecting here in the moment, and I think that's maybe a little sad. But here we are.
Sad.
This is the life that I'm living.
That makes me quite happy, personally. I think it's hard to beat the Texas Roadhouse roll. But it begs the question, is it possible to beat the Texas Roadhouse roll?
I think when it's accompanied with that butter, it can't be beaten. It's unmatched. And that's just speaking from the heart, from my arteries specifically.
No, I gotcha. I think you could put that butter on literally anything. You could put it on a steak. That'd be good. I've done it before on a steak. You could put it on some green beans.
Heck yeah.
You could put it on an iguana.
Oh, making my mouth water, boy.
The
roast an iguana up.
The iguanian cinnamon buttered Pan fry.
That's right.
Wow.
Maybe baste him a little bit while he's cooking.
Get basted, you iguana. Basted by butter.
Oh, other than that, this morning I made a little brown sugar shaken espresso, which has been my drink of choice at home here recently. I haven't used my espresso machine in probably 3 weeks, and so I had to kind of knock the rust off a little bit. Wasn't getting the pressure that I really needed to get a good brew, but I finally figured out a way to get it up, and and it made a delicious coffee. So, top 2 moments of my week have to do with food and drink. And once again, internally, I'm saying this is a sad point in your life, Brett. So,
Don't say that, my friend. Some of my fondest memories are over food and drink. In fact, they're the most constant things in life, are food and drink.
oh wow,
Take us full circle in 11 minutes. Talk to
that's
'em.
right.
What kind of sports have you been seeing?
Last night, watched the Packers a little bit. Turned it on in the second quarter, so I missed Jordan Love and his first preseason game without Aaron Rodgers. So I have to go back and check out the highlights. I hear he did pretty well. But I was mainly watching this dude, Clifford is his last name. I don't even know his first name. I
Sean.
think it starts with an S. Sean Clifford. There you go. He is as pale as the driven snow. And last night he juked out some people. So he's kind of like the Alaskan bullworm a little bit. Big, hairy, and pink. But he balled out. He threw some dimes, and he was running around like Mike Vick. And he's not really a shifty guy. So I was surprised to see that.
Well,
and
he
then
is
also
from Penn State, so
is he
that
from
makes
Penn
sense.
State?
Yeah, that makes sense why he's pale. That snow has been
Lots.
just hitting him. It just
Yeah.
locks into his skin.
Yeah. You go to Pennsylvania, it's a lot of pale folks. I'll say that. And then on top of that, I've been keeping up with Stoke City, which is my favorite football club, FC, as they say overseas. And also my reference to takeaway with Roadhouse was a little British reference as well, rather than saying pick up or to go. But yeah, I think we're 2 or 3 games into the season. We're undefeated. I say we. I don't own the team. But once again, drop it in the comments if you want to throw me some shade. But yeah, we're 3-0. I think we're second place in the championship league. So we're still in the league underneath Premier League. But if we keep this
less
up,
impressive.
we keep this up, I think we've got a promotion in the future. So back to the Premier League would be huge.
I saw something on the internet that said basically as soon as you get promoted, if you're a club, you're going to go get relegated again.
Really?
Yeah. Do you believe that?
I think it's probably pretty common because you had these teams, and Stoke City was in the Premier League for a while, for a hot minute. And then, you get relegated, get dropped down, and just kind of spirals from there. But for me, I think of, getting promoted to the Premier League as like, hey, you were a D2 school, and now you're playing D1 teams all of a sudden, if you don't have a massive roster overhaul.
Yeah.
You go from playing like Southern Miss to playing Alabama. So there's probably a pretty good chance that teams that get promoted within the first year or two get relegated again. But look, those 2 years are pure gold, You're playing Tottenham, Man City, all these big teams. It's huge.
Yeah, the promotion gives you promotion.
And I think they get a lot more money that way. So you can go out and buy better players. Not buy, but pay them more money.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't buy players. They're not their property.
Right. Pardon me.
Except Harry Kane. They could buy Harry Kane. No, that's fun. Did you see the 16-year-old Barcelona player?
I did not. I'm not aware of who that is.
So it's this guy, 16-year-old, who's playing for Barcelona, the football club.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in like at the 80th minute, and there's 90 minutes in a football match.
Right.
And he assisted on one goal that tied it, and he assisted on the next goal that won it. I think my facts are right. 16 years
Who's
old.
Who's going to check us?
He's playing in, what is that league? Barcelona.
Barcelona?
La Liga?
I have no clue.
One?
I don't think, is it? Yeah, probably La Liga.
But can you imagine being 16, playing in the highest league in that area, and dicing professionals up like that? I mean, just think of a 16-year-old football player. The progression from a 16-year-old who is a sophomore in high school to a 22-year-old who is a senior in college playing on the same football field is absolutely crazy. Then you double that and say 16-year-old sophomore is playing in the NFL. Now we're talking insane. We've gone from crazy to insane. This kid is generational. I wish I knew his name. Sorry, brother, but I don't know your name. But if you're listening to this, feel free to comment and blaspheme us all you want.
Oh, you know how good that would be for our ratings? If this dude commented us because we didn't know his name. Oh, we'd get millions of views. That would be so good.
We are desperate for views, but we will not compromise our beliefs. Yet.
And we'd make so much money. Yeah. We would make so much money. Could you imagine?
Oh.
I mean, YouTube paid us for week 1. I think they sent us each like 30 cents a check. Like,
well, they said
don't even bother.
Total 30 cents. We have to split it 15 cents each.
Right.
But we need money bad. We can't go in the red on this thing.
Yeah. And we already are. I know we've both invested too much money in this podcast. Quite frankly, it's I think we're in over our heads here, trying to stay afloat. I got to put food on the table for my wife and baby.
You got to get some cinnamon butter out there.
I got to get some dang cinnamon butter, and I'm making 15 cents from YouTube. Dadgum.
Oh, yeah, we're desperate.
But we have merch, people. All right?
We do have merch. Don't forget the mugs. Don't forget the sweatshirts. I mean, we're wearing jackets because it's freezing. Just think about next week when the cold front comes through. We're going to need jackets and a sweatshirt.
Right.
The other thing,
and I think we've got bracelets. Anklets or bracelets coming.
Oh, you tell me.
I think it's anklets.
Anklets.
With, quite frankly, in little beads. I think that's coming to the store soon as well.
Handcrafted, too.
That's going to be a hot seller.
Made with generous love.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Sam Burns dunked one in golf for a hole-in-one?
I did. I was sitting on the couch with Stetson today. We were watching a little golf this morning. And this man, Sam Burns, just pulls up and does it.
I was watching the replay, and the poor guy was desperate too, because he was +4, which is no bueno, Sam. But that got him down to +2. So he's on the right track. They had to repair the hole for about 30 minutes there, because he threw it in with such velocity. But
it's impressive. Sam
burned the hole, if you know what I'm saying.
That's right. I bet you I bet you that dude last week that hit the hole-in-one in the Villages, I bet you he didn't slam dunk it.
The only thing he's slam dunking is in the prison courtyard, I think.
That's right. That's right. He probably hit a worm burner that rolled up on the green and hit the pin and went in. Something lucky.
Yes. Yes. On the executive course. Car path
Right.
roll.
That's right. Do you have horrendous credit and need a restart? No reason to go bankrupt when you can use Credit Heaven. Credit Heaven allows you to go into piles of debt and get out debt-free. What's the catch? The more debt you have, the more Nirvana songs will play in your head. Say goodbye to karma and hello to Credit Heaven. That's a great product. I'm so glad that they chose to be our sponsor.
Yeah, because we're
Because that's
going to
going to help a
needing
lot
it.
of people.
We're going to be needing it after after we go in the red. Oh, boy.
Oh,
As
boy.
we can't
Yeah.
get out of debt on this podcast.
Well, hopefully they can give us some sort of deal. I racked up a ton of debt with this podcast, and I know you have too. So that's huge to have them on board.
Yeah, it is. It is. The other thing, we got another comment on one of our videos, and it was on the topic of the fishnet.
Okay.
Man, so this guy just commented, "Please don't show us the fishnet picture," but he did it all sarcastically, almost like he wanted to see the fishnet picture, which made
What
me
the
think,
heck?
I wonder if this is the guy that was in the that was in the fishnet.
It might be.
But that's all. That's all we got. Those are the
Yeah,
only comments.
I didn't get to snap a picture of him, unfortunately. It probably would have been. I could have maybe caught a selfie with him. Hey, man, acted like he was like a celebrity or something.
Are you a big George Strait fan?
Like, hey, are you George Strait? Can I get a selfie with you? What are you
Sir,
doing? You're about to go
sir,
on stage.
George!
He's like, what the heck? Oh, gracious. No. Well, I probably should have gotten a picture with him looking back, but I'll let you all just have your imaginations run wild as to what this man's body and, fishnet front side looks like.
So there was no fishnet backside.
There was backside, but
Okay. I didn't know if it
I
was
mean,
like
I think-
a cutoff in the hat and just a neck
No.
strap.
he had the front taped to his body.
Oh, I would respect that. I'd wear it. Maybe.
Maybe we could add that to the store, to the
Woohoo! Yes.
merch.
Yes.
That'd
The
be a
quite
hot
frankly
item.
half-cut fishnet top.
There you go.
I'll wear it to the pool every Friday.
Oh,
Have you seen any reality television recently?
yep. This past week, we watched the new episode for Real Housewives of Orange County.
Mm.
This year, they brought on some new gals, if you will. It's pretty low on the totem pole as far as Real Housewife franchises go. But I still watch it because I know who the majority of them are. Been watching them for several years, so that one's pretty good. New York, I know I talked about this in episode 1, but there's a lot of interesting characters on Real Housewives of New York, and I'm really starting to get into it. I think they're only 3 or 4 episodes in, so if anybody's listening and they're thinking, oh, they're probably 20 episodes in, I could never catch up. You should catch up because there's only 4 episodes, and it's really, really good.
On a scale of 1 to better than New York, where would you rate it?
1 to better than New York. What do you mean by that?
Better than New York means that Orange County is better than New York. Real Housewives of Orange County.
Oh, no, Orange County is not better than New York.
I understand. Well, then that answers that it's a 1.
I'd say a 2.
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah.
Now, do you know where the Real Housewives of New York are? They on Billionaires Row in New York?
They don't really publish their addresses. I guess they're afraid people will just like show up randomly.
Why do they think
Which
that?
is I don't know. I mean, I certainly wouldn't show up to someone's house unannounced. Maybe I'd reach out to them on Instagram or something like that first before showing up. But
And then you could say, "Look, I messaged you. I was coming. This should be
I
no
told you.
surprise. That's your fault."
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Why are you in my
What do you
living
mean
room?
you're
I
calling the
told you.
police?
I told you. I was gonna be sitting on your couch when you got home.
I told you I was going to break in and kick in your front door. Oh, so have you been watching any? And I feel like Bravo is really the pinnacle as far as reality television goes. That's all. That's all that I watch as far as reality TV goes. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I've kicked in. So I started Summer House from the beginning because I had watched the past 2 seasons and loved it. So I'm in season
Okay.
3 right now. And Amanda and Kyle have just mended their relationship after nasty allegations of Kyle sleeping with other women that weren't his girlfriend came out.
Okay.
But then they came back and now they love one another once. Well, I don't think they actually stopped loving one another. But on the show, they shared with one another that they loved each other once more.
Oh wow, that's huge. And now, I mean, flash forward, seems like they're doing pretty good.
They're
So,
married and have like 4 fur babies and trying to get their own human baby.
That's right. Yep.
That's not a spoiler because it's reality television.
Right.
So you know their lives already.
Hmm. You could just Google it.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Below Deck Down Under season 2 also came out a few weeks ago, and I didn't know because I, had that thing with Suits going on.
Right.
And I had my mind set to finishing Suits, and I blocked out all other television in the process.
Mm.
So I started that show back up. I enjoy Below Deck Down Under. They're in Cairns, Australia.
Does it have an E before the S? Is it like Carnes or is straight Carnes?
Cairns.
Okay.
Cairns. Oi, mate. You want to go to
I think-
Cairns? They
Who's
have
Karen?
Who's Karen? Karen. Sharon.
Oh.
But they
So
say
how-
it has the best underwater, like snorkeling vibes down there. So it's a great place to go to.
Okay.
And what better way to go to it than on a super yacht with people serving you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's not a bad transportation there. So how would you rate this with all the other below decks? Because this seems like they've got, I don't know, 5 of them now, something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, they have too many. But I'll give you my ranking if you'd like.
Okay.
Below Deck Down Under, number 1.
Oh my goodness.
Below Deck, the original, number 2.
OG.
Yeah. Below Deck Adventure, number 3. Below Deck Mediterranean, number 4. Below Deck Sailing Yacht, number 5.
I think I would agree with Sailing Yacht's position. I probably would have flipped Adventure and Mediterranean. I like Mediterranean. I'd probably go OG, Below Deck, then Mediterranean, then 3 Down Under, 4 Adventure, and then 5 Sailing Yacht. So we're pretty close there.
Yeah, I respect your decisions. But here's the thing. With Adventure, it was the first year, I think. First year, and then Captain Sandy came on, who was on Below Deck Mediterranean. So you really got the best of both worlds the first season. But the reason I don't like Mediterranean is because their colors are red, and it's just I don't like the red colors.
Oh, they're polos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I prefer blue.
it's not a very oceanic color.
Precisely. It's more like bloody and meaty, like something you'd see at the Roadhouse or something.
Or like Shark Week or something.
Yes.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's too good.
Well, today's episode is brought to you by Clarity. Clarity is a monthly suppository that gives you a clear mind and sound judgment that always seems to come after a nasty argument. With the holiday season approaching, Clarity has your back to make sure you avoid the... Sorry, sometimes I read ahead. I read ahead and I think about all the emotions that pop up. So what that says is Clarity has your back to make sure you avoid the annual Thanksgiving brawl that always seems to pop up. But when I heard Thanksgiving, my emotions kicked in because one year, my grandfather's last sibling, he had, I believe, 4 siblings. So his 4th one, he passed away. And we were sitting around in the circle and we were praying and we were asking what we were thankful for. And my grandpa, named Grumpy, he said he was thankful for life and he was thankful for his siblings. But then he said, it made me realize that I'm next. And when he said, when he said, it made me realize that I'm next, I began to cry. So this could be Clarity could have your back for the Thanksgiving brawl, or it could have your back for the Thanksgiving ball. That is, bawling your eyes out crying. And that always, one of those two things seem to always pop up. Anyway, onward. This year, you'll be able to enjoy quality time with your family instead of spending the night in the county jail. I take Clarity anytime my parents come to town. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I didn't want you to find out that way. This way, I can explain to my parents that podcasting and making AI music is a full-time job without the usual huffing and puffing. Use code Quite Frankly to get yours today at a 10% discounted price. Wow! Man, I need Clarity after that sponsorship advertisement.
Goodness. It went from a normal, pharmaceutical advertisement. You got real serious there in the middle. I almost cried a little bit.
I'm crying right now.
And then the end, it kind of seemed like you were just taking it out on your parents and their thoughts about your way of life a little bit. So that's unfortunate.
Needless to say, I'm convicted by this time and this advertisement. But that's one of the reasons I take Clarity is to not have to do my huff and puff.
Yep. And that's honestly one of the side effects of Clarity is severe conviction. So if you ain't hearing the Holy Spirit talking to you, just take a little Clarity.
No, that's why. I mean, I take Clarity every night, just about, because I love the Holy Spirit. I actually say, "Talk to him, Holy Spirit." Anytime, talk to him.
As you take the suppository.
Suppository. Consider it supposited.
I just imagine you in your bathroom every month when you take your your Clarity, and you say, consider it supposited.
Consider it supposited. We seem to have lost Brett on our video. Oh, he's popped back up.
Here I am.
Here he is. Brett, what have you been listening to? Song of the week.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited about this new segment that we've got. It's called Song of the Week. We're going to tell you what we've been jamming out to. So this week, I've been listening to some Coulter Wall. He put out a few weeks back a new album. One of the better songs on there is called Standing Here, and it's essentially Coulter, and you just kind of imagine him in his house in the middle of nowhere, Canada. And he's just having some deep thoughts to himself about life, about his country. One of the lines about his country is like, everybody's yelling, but nobody's actually saying anything. So that hit me hard because, with the Unity Party doing everything that it's doing, I think that's what it's really trying to combat.
That's deep and beautiful. In fact, Coulter Wall's voice is one of the most unique, beautiful voices I've heard.
It's deep, it's leathery.
He's got
and it's got a little
daggum deep vocal.
It's deep. I don't know the musical terminology for it, but his voice is like dark,
the bass,
dark chocolate.
That's tasty. Dark chocolate, it's hard to beat. I could have dark chocolate with my Clarity pill every night.
What have you been listening to?
Well, this song by Young Oceans and Harvest, which I had loved from the very beginning, but it popped up on my random shuffle, or optimized shuffle, as Spotify now calls it. It's called Let This Heart Not Wander. And it's basically talking about your heart staying focused on one thing. Because I think all the time, there's rarely a moment where I'm not thinking about anything. Yep. And that's just the way I'm designed. And it's hard for me to stay focused and not wander in my thoughts. So I thought it was quite beautiful. They have another song that's the same vibe as this one, called Till the Tears Are Gone. Another good one. As you can see, I cry quite a bit.
I was about to say,
I get emotional.
Sounds like you're just really crying through maybe 10% of your day is filled with tears.
Yeah, 100%. They release emotion. I'll be standing, talking to my boss, and I'll just begin crying.
Wow.
Not really. I made that up. I lied. I'm sorry. I feel bad. I need a Clarity pill right now.
You regret that.
I regret it. But that's a good song. Great vibes. Not your typical CCM, Christian contemporary music soundtrack. Though I have no problem with Christian contemporary music. I actually love it. But I may get a lot of flack for that. I know there's a movement to stray away from Christian contemporary music, but
towards what?
That's my concern, is it's towards something that lacks
the gumption,
substance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to say all pop music is bad. We create pop music,
Look, I pretty much said it last week, so you can say it again. I'm good with it.
I'm good. I'm good with it. But anyway, that song is a winner. Unfortunately, we can't play these songs for you because there's some kind of copyright law against it, and we can't get striked because we don't have the funds to remove the strike.
Right. Let alone pay the lawyer fees to try to fight this thing.
Precisely.
We can barely afford the software to shoot these dang videos.
That's true. Oh man, we had probably a 50-minute conversation about how we were going to accomplish this week's podcast without the software, and then we decided to bite the bullet for for 1 month. And if our listeners can't buy enough merch to fund the podcast, then we're just going to have to find another solution.
Right. And whether that be Zoom or just, or live events where people come and hear us talk, I think that might be a solution. But yeah, it's tough. out here as a podcaster. You know, I thought their first video would hit a million views and listens and things like that. But I think we're kind of leveled out around the 25 mark.
Oh man, one of our clips has reached 1,000 views.
That's
But
amazing.
that's
And you
just a
posted
clip.
that this morning, right?
Yeah, this morning. And we're getting a TikTok, if I recall correctly. We'll be
Yep,
up on
that's
TikTok.
correct.
We're getting a Patreon so people can help fund our adventures.
And look, on that Patreon, we can provide whatever you guys want us to provide. We can cover the song of the week. We can, I don't know, you guys could come on and play Rocket League with us. We could shoot another episode. Whatever you guys want, just let us know.
I will say we're going to be one of a kind Patreon. We're going to be a Patreon of the people.
Mm-hmm.
The people govern what our Patreon does. Okay? So that means you have a vested interest. Unlike how taxes work. Well, I won't go there. Pause. Retract. Because what I was going to say was factually incorrect. Anyway, you're going to tell us what to do because you're a paying customer. You're not paying for us to provide you a service. You're paying for you to dictate us.
Right. That's
And-
capitalism.
And people want control, and I know for a fact you want control, especially of us. So you buy that Patreon, you tell us what to do, and we're going to do it with a smile on our faces.
But I will say you have to buy the Patreon first,
Yes.
and then you can request the things that we do. So send us your money first, then, make some requests, and I promise we'll get around to it. And it's a monthly deal, so make sure you send your check every month for the Patreon, and then we'll get around to doing that stuff for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we're closing out, just a reminder, we need you to buy some merch or just give us cold hard cash. Because the reason I say merch is because you get something out of it. Cold hard cash, you're just giving us cash, which we won't deny. We won't say, no, we won't accept. But I'd rather you have a piece of merch as well, because then you get a piece of clothing or a mug or whatever you want. That's going to be a feature of the Patreon, is you get to ask for specific and custom items from the Quite Frankly shop.
Yep.
You got any other thoughts?
I don't think I have any other thoughts. This week has been a good week. But I will say your comment last week of, hey, I'm feeling anxious. Is my life worthy of talking about on a podcast? It was certainly going through my mind this week. But look, the beauty of life is in the day-to-day, right? So that's, I take solace in that.
Yeah. And just so you know, our lives aren't worthy of having a podcast. But we're doing it anyway, because this podcast isn't about our lives. It's about the people in our lives. And the people are worthy of the podcast. Right. And so with that, quite frankly, we love you deeply. We love you generously. And I'm willing to say we would get killed for you.
That's true. Yep.
And we mean that. If someone walks in and says, you or Brett and Bo, I want you to say, Brett and Bo, take us out. We will die.
And we'll run in there, and while we're running, we'll say, greater love hath no man than this. Jump in front of the bullet. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
We'll have to sync up our jumps, because sometimes the bullet goes through the body.
Right. I'll jump first, you jump right behind me, and hopefully the bullet gets stuck somewhere near and doesn't make it all the way through. That would be unfortunate if all three people died.
Yeah, that would be the epitome of unfortunate. But hopefully we would see you again.
Amen.
Though there's no guarantee, even in heaven. What is heaven? It's the presence of God. Can we be in the presence of God right now, today? Yes. Can we be in heaven today? Think about that for a week, and we'll come back and talk to you soon. Goodbye, my friends.
Love you all.